This is the episode of Planet Moni where we transform this fat, balding Filipino with a receding hairline and bad credit into a beautiful, delusional, slightly psychotic Hollywood ingenue. So sit back, relax, and get ready with me, Moni. Excuse the messy bedroom. You are in my bedroom here in Los Angeles where I live. If you are just finding out about me now or have just subscribed. Why am I drooling? Girl. My name is Moni. I am a drag queen here in LA. I am 30 years old. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am. Just know that I'm old enough to be your dad. Or your mom, or your uncle, or whatever. I have been doing drag now for about 18 years. I started in the Bay Area, where my family still lives. I am Filipino though, and I'm a proud Filipino, and I'm proud of my heritage. And I grew up in a little tiny island called Guam, as well as the Philippines. And then my family moved to San Francisco. So let's start. First, we're gonna color correct. I never used to do this. I never had to do this. But as you get older and certain things become more apparent in drag, no matter how thick the makeup is. I've very recently had to start color correcting all the dark beard cover and all the dark lines under my eyes. Girl, she's not getting any younger, Miss Thing. So I'm just gonna do that. And some on my eyebrows. Girl. I've also asked a bunch of people, what did you want to learn about me? I've asked on social media, what did you want to know about me? Why am I the most beautiful creature on the planet? Just joking, that's a complete lie. I have been a performer. I mainly lip sync. I'm also a part-time actor. Good time gal. Miss Thing. But y'all, if y'all want to hit a bitch up, we should bleep that out. Maybe we should bleep that out. There's shit hotter on top of where you kind of put all that orange just to like dry it out, and then get your giant fluffy brush. As you can see, I have tons of makeup with that excess off. Now I like to cheat a little bit, so I have two foundations that I have three foundations that I use, but for my base, before anything else, this is industrial proof. You can sweat, you can bleed, you can cry. Honey, this thing will never, ever, like, if you do your makeup right and you powder the hell out of your face, this thing, it's Krylon, it's TV paint stick. It will never, like, smear. I swear by it. But years ago, like just a few years ago, they came out with a thing called Vitacolor. So it's basically the same as TV paint stick, but in a liquid cream form. We're just gonna use my primer. I have 10 billion primers. This is my favorite one. It's Banana Bright Face Primer by Ole Henriksen. What do the influencers do? They do this. Is this what they do? Like that? I don't know, bro. Whatever. So that's my primer, and we are gonna use my TV paint stick. And this is amazing. It is a godsend. So a lot of people have asked me online, well, not a lot of people, more like the 2 followers that I do have. They've asked me what are some of my inspirations when it comes to drag and looks and makeup and stuff. Some of my inspirations in drag are really old Hollywood movie stars. I started doing drag at such a young age, and I got into the club scene in San Francisco, and I was experimenting a lot with different forms and different styles, and like really just testing the waters out. But it wasn't until I moved to LA that I mean, it literally took about 10, 11 years of me figuring out what my drag was going to be like. And then moved to LA and realized that I really like glamour drag. And you can find old pictures of me online where I was doing all that crazy kind of experimental avant-garde drag that San Francisco was known for. I mean, there would be pictures of me like with fire or blood or, you know, but that was fun. I had such a good time doing all that. I never shy away from my past. I learned so much from it, and it helps my creativity. But right now, as of now, I really like old Hollywood style, like Elizabeth Taylor. Like, that's what my biggest inspiration right now is, Elizabeth Taylor in the 50s and the 60s, you know. As far as modern inspirations, I really love Angelina Jolie. I mean, if this is a long shot, if any of her reps are watching this, I'd love to meet Angelina Jolie. I'm obsessed with her. So, after that base is done, we are going to contour this old noggin, because contouring does really define. You know what? I'm just gonna preface this by letting you all know I am not a makeup artist by any shape or means or anything. I really enjoy putting on makeup on myself. I rarely enjoy putting makeup on other people. Once in a while, if my drag daughters ask for my help, I will paint them. But as far as, like, you know, me having to paint somebody else, it's just not gonna happen, girl. I hate doing it. It's like, I really hate it. This is not the game. But so, I love makeup, and I love what the expression that drag brings, the freedom of self-expression. It's relaxing. Normally I would have music on, but for YouTube purposes, we don't want to get copy striked. We're just gonna contour. Before I forget, this is a TV paint stick in V22. Color works for me. I'm sure people can go darker or lighter depending on, you know, your skin tone. We're gonna carve that out. We're gonna make a diamond, basically. You know, like, the older you get in drag, the more you find things. You have to kind of change your look once you see things starting to go a little different from what it used to be. Honey, when I was in my 20s, I'm still in my 20s in my mind. Honey, one coat of Maybelline foundation, one coat of Kryolan TV paint stick, and we're good to go. We're out the door. But now she's a little bit older. She's a little bit more things we have to hide, you know. We just have to go with the flow and go with time. Of course, if science and medicine can help stop the aging process, then I will definitely go for it. Like, you know, I do get regular facials. I do get microdermabrasions and chemical peels because I'm that insane. It's not for everybody, but it's what I like, and it's my face. So I'm gonna contour a little bit there. I know I have big pouty lips, but I like to exaggerate them even more in drag. Who is my hero? I have a lot of heroes. My parents are my heroes. My parents, for those of you that don't know my story, my parents are lesbians, and they have been together since middle school, and been in love for so long, and to fight family and to prove their love and society, and, you know, to prove their love to each other is something really admirable. I'm gonna start tearing up. I lost one of my moms this past January to COVID, and that was really, really heartbreaking in a lot of ways. But we pick ourselves back up and we move on, and, you know, starting this channel is kind of helping me kind of break out of that depression that I was in, and that rut I felt I was in. You know, losing a parent is really, really hard. Nothing in your life can ever prepare you for it. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing will ever prepare you to when you lose a parent. And the worst part about it was, it was COVID, so we really couldn't even run to the hospital. That really kind of wrecked me. Moral of that lesson is never forget to tell somebody that you love how much they mean to you. Life is too short. Oh, by the way, I'm now highlighting. So, again, opposable thumb, flat Filipino with a receding hairline and a balding head. We're going to turn this into something magical. So we need to carve out things. And, I'm sure you've seen thousands of makeup tutorials on YouTube where they tell you contour, what contouring does, and the purpose of contouring and baking and highlighting and all that. But I'm not going to say, I'm just going to assume you know. But we are now highlighting. Basically, what we're doing is we're creating shadow and light. We are hiding things with the contour and popping things out with the highlight. It's that simple. So now I'm putting in my highlight colors, and it's another cream-based product. And I love it. Again, something I've been using for years, and it's just something I'm used to by now. So why change perfection? So this is Ivory. Sometimes I use Shibui, also by Krylon, but this is also a Krylon cream. It's Ivory. I buy it in bulk. It's a good highlight. It works for me. I don't know if it'll work for everybody else, but it works for me. Drag in general is not for the faint of heart. It's painful. It's S&M, girl. It's S&M. So now I'm just using my disgusting beauty blender that I haven't washed to blend all the seams together to create dimension. But in any case, drag is not for the faint of heart. Oftentimes you're pulled, things are glued to your head, things are squeezed, heels are made for sitting down, not for standing up. And as glamorous and as beautiful as it is, it's painful. So respect your local queens. A lot of them are working hard. Respect any queen. It's a lot of work. We're doing this. What is another question? What makes me angry? Lack of drive, laziness. I think the one real pet peeve I have is laziness, which I know is kind of difficult because we are just slowly getting out of the pandemic, where we really didn't have much to do and we were just in the house for most of the time. But yeah, laziness. I always need something to do. I always need to either be creative. I sew. I make my own jewelry. The one thing I cannot do in drag is hair. For the life of me, I never learned how to style wigs. So don't ever ask me to style a wig because I don't know. I need you to be doing something at all times. I need you to be not all times, but I need you to have some sort of mindset where get ready to work. Night after night in nightclubs, I can tell you stories of me taking the BART to my gigs, taking the Moni to my gigs. I did the Miss Tranny Shack pageant about 17 years ago, and I took the bus in a giant white ball gown. I took the 19 pole. I took all the costumes for my backup dancers, plus some of the wigs that I had to wear for the night, and carried that on the 19 Polk all the way up Van Ness, all the way up Polk Street, and took the bus to the Regency Center, which was a mile away. Crazy. My first few gigs in drag was working the doors of nightclubs, or back then there wasn't social media, so the way promoters contacted their guests to come party was through email or through flyers. So promoters would pay me to stand around in their parties in full drag. I mean, my drag was garbage, but like in whatever drag, and take down names. I got paid $1 a name, so you know, if I had to hustle, if I wanted to get paid $100, most of the time it was like 25 names a night, girl. But that for me was so thrilling, and fun. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that kind of work. I enjoyed that lifestyle back then. You know, when you're young, you want to do everything, girl. Trust. So now I'm just like popping in a little bit of white. You're gonna use a lot of white. And one night, this really famous drag queen, who you might know or have heard of, Heclina, not one night, one afternoon, I was walking down the Castro in San Francisco, and she asked me to compete in her at a contest at her club, Tranny Shack. Now, I know that sounds politically incorrect. I shouldn't be saying the word Tranny Shack, but I mean, I come from that time. A lot of my formative years were spent in that club. I'm very proud of that legacy, and I'm very proud of that history. From now on, I'll just say T-Shack. So T-Shack was this club that was started by Heclina in San Francisco in the 90s that ran for like 14 years. I'm towards the tail end of, I was one of the youngest, and so I'm at the tail end of that fantasy. I came in 2005. So I did the contest, did not win, did not place, girl, but guess who got booked the week after? And I did that club. I literally performed at that club every day, every Tuesday for a good 3 years, if not every Tuesday, most Tuesdays a month. And that kind of catapulted me into a different strata of drag in San Francisco. Did I know what I was doing? No. Was my drag good? No. Were my numbers good? I'm not sure. But I gave it my all, and I had a good time, and it was fun. So now, again, I'm powdering my face because we want to set some of that cream. Remember, we were using a lot of creams, so we want to set all those creams with a little powder. Back in the day, girl, my powder was a very different thing for me, honey. Being in that club till 5 a.m. I was a party girl. I love the nightlife. I love to boogie. I love the disco. Yeah. Because I was party, but you kind of grow out of that. Yeah, it's kind of gets tired after a while. You kind of want something different with your life. Make something out of yourself. But San Francisco was really fun. It was, my 20s was great. Performed at the Stud for T-Shack. You know, made a name for myself. And then my friend, once that kind of boiled over, I started performing at another club called Charlie Horse at the Cinch. That was really, really fun because that was really like punk rock and off the charts, and we just had a good time. And you know, people were having sex in the walk-in freezer where we would get ready. I mean, this bar has literally been in San Francisco since since after the earthquake of 1906. It was one of the last standing few gay bars standing on Polk Street. It's still there. I still go there. I mean, like when I'm home, when I go visit, I try to stop by. It's still there. I love that. I love it there. So I kind of watched that little drag show that could blossom into something amazing. We were performing on top of one pool table And our DJ was the host, as another drag queen, good drag queen friend of mine, Anaconda, who's now super retired from drag. But our DJ was the host, so she would run up and down the stairs, and it wasn't even stairs; it was a ladder that would go to the DJ booth. And one sound system, one halogen light bulb lighting, absolutely no fancy lighting, nothing like. And in the very beginning, there was a pool league on the same night as the drag show, so we performed on the one pool table covered in plywood. And I would be crazy. I would be doing the yeah yeah yeahs or Susie and the Banshees, and like while the people who were playing pool, I would in the middle of my number just jump and just screw with their pool game, because it was like, listen, nobody was paying attention. I gotta get your attention somehow. I would literally just go there and mess with the balls, and they hated it, but we loved it. I loved it. It's fun. And it was a very fun club until the club got bigger and bigger. And it's still in that little tiny bar. And instead of one pool table after the first year, we got 2 pool tables at the second year. Really fun time. I remember we would just, instead of going to each other's houses for after parties, we would literally be in the basement. The basement was gross. Like, the pipes would drip water on our head as we were getting ready. And it would be, like, disgusting. But we had so much fun. We would drink there till, like, 3 or 4 in the morning, like, after the show was done. Sometimes we were there till 7 a.m. just drinking and shooting the ish, just hang out. It was a great time. It was a fun time in my life, and I wish I could go back to that very specific moment, because that's kind of where I had to learn how to perform. Listen, you don't have the advantage of fabulous lighting or stage direction. You really had to bring your raw talent to be able to entertain. And it was kind of like the burning desire in me to like entertain and to be the fiercest thing on the planet, like, is what got me to that stage. I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for my time there. But yeah, that was Charlie Horse. Tranny Shack was more of a theatrical production. Production number. This is towards the end, so the numbers were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And me being kind of an idiot, didn't know any better, didn't know anything. I thought, again, in my mind, the one thing I do have going for me is I did think I was the fiercest thing on the planet, so nothing can stop me. But anyway, that was that. The more powder, the better, because it just makes it easier for you later. You're not gonna melt, again, like the setting spray and all that stuff is a new thing. I'm doing drag how I learned how to do drag from my amazing elders who taught me, with a few adjustments along the way. Like, back then I used to cover my eyebrows with spirit gum and the wax and all that. Now I shave my eyebrows. It's a lot faster. I look like a mongoloid out of drag. I look like, when I would shave my head, I look like a cancer patient. I'm never gonna get laid, and that's okay. Excuse my poor posture, you guys. It's like relaxed time. It's meditative. It's meditative. So with that said, we're gonna light a candle. It's a favorite movie. Gone with the Wind is one of my all-time favorite movies, and sometimes I have a hard time reconciling how inherently racist the movie is to the art. It's a product of its time, obviously, and I've also read Margaret Mitchell's book like 4 times. It's a glimpse into an America that people say don't exist, but still kind of does. In a weird way. in a very horrible way, it still does exist. And, you know, but it's such a beautiful movie. Vivian Lee, it just knocks it out of the park. The range of acting she would have to do from, you know, from being a coquettish, you know, naive teenager to being a survivor, to being a mother, to being a scorned lover. It's just, she carries that whole movie for like 3-4 hours. It's insane. But one, that's another one. I love classic movies. Gone with the Wind is obviously a classic movie. Horrible racist movie, but it's a classic movie, and should watch it, if only to realize that America hasn't changed all that much since 1860 whatever. We're still seeing a lot of the same things. Another great movie that I really do love, again, I mentioned Elizabeth Taylor earlier. I love epic movies. Giant is an epic movie with Rock Hudson and Dennis Hopper, and when he was a teenager, and Elizabeth Taylor, and, you know, talks about it's very story character driven. Elizabeth Taylor carries the movie for freaking 5 hours. It's a little, towards the end, it got a little racist, but in context, because Dennis Hopper marries a Mexican American woman, and they go into a restaurant, and somebody gets really huffy and racist with them, and so Rock Hudson punches the guy. What a dream about that Rock Hudson. Sheesh. Anyway, time to do all the pencil stuff. So we are gonna start with this. This is, girl, as far as expensive makeup, I have all of it. But as far as my go-tos are concerned, I really do love and go back to certain products, and this is one of them. Wet n Wild. Suck if this thing was not on. So I'm just gonna check. Oh, it's still on. Wet n Wild, 99 cents. Wet n Wild, not sponsored, but I swear by it. Love this. Yeah, so as far as you, again, Angelina Jolie, obsessed with Angelina Jolie. She just embodies glamour, like Hollywood glamour, and what Hollywood glamour for me is now. I mean, she's also a really fierce humanitarian, which is something to be said. Just gonna like draw our eyebrows now. There are many, many ways to do this. This is my way, again. After years of learning how to paint my face and what works for me, this is what works for me. The easiest way. Just gonna curve that. Tilda Swinton. For years I wanted to be Tilda Swinton's like love child. I just think she has such depth, and I just think she's the coolest thing ever. That Tilda Swinton. Orlando. Have you guys watched Orlando? Orlando was made in the 80s. It's about a time traveling being, and she travels all over time. Sometimes she's a man and sometimes she's a woman, and the whole time they are being played by the great Tilda Swinton. That movie inspires me so much. That whole running through the maze scene is shot so beautifully. As you can see, I really love film. I can talk about film for hours. You know, eyebrows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. I don't know how close this is to being close to symmetrical, but I'm trying to get it as symmetrical. Girl, I don't want to burn my house down. What the hell? What's going on? Okay, whatever. Hey girl, future Moni here, and guess what? I am slowly realizing as I'm editing this video that it is far too long for just one. So we're gonna do to Get Ready With Me vlogs. And if you're enjoying yourself so far, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, smash that bell and get notifications. Tell all your friends, tell your lovers, tell your frenemies, tell somebody. I want to hit 1,000 soon, and with all your help, we can do this. Anyways, have a good day. Mwah.